Female characters, especially animated ones, get a lot of shit. They have to be as profitable as their male counterparts with at times half the support. They're constantly used to stoke culture wars, and they got to be well written enough that large swaths of men can easily root for them without inadvertently defaulting to big boobs, big thigh, mother complex, Mary Sue, femme fatale, girl next door, muscle mommy, manic pixie girl who's in love with the male protagonist even though he's a genuine loser who has absolutely no redeeming qualities.
Oh, Scott's mourning period is officially over. He's totally dating a high schooler.
Police!
And I'd say for the most part, the scene is in a good place. Alas, whenever one or two poor to mediocre female characters pop up, it does create the perfect breeding ground for those who like their women either exclusively in the kitchen or forever wearing cat ears. We all know the real reasons why poor characters exist, right? Studios like Disney trying to pump and dump as many movies as possible, and writers trying to speedrun characterization by often making their female characters unreasonably hacked / broken or arrogant in a way that almost fights with the story. Instead of taking the time to develop a fully fleshed out person with flaws, strengths, and an authentic yet likable personality. And at times this process still yields a very strong, very arrogant character, but the difference will be the story will actually complement them and their character will make sense within the given world. All this plus large dollops of, let's not lie guys, misogyny has meant that even the best female characters still catch a lot of heat. And I just want to pull up in defense of two of my girls, Nami and Katara, and in celebration of the new Avatar series coming out on Netflix, Katara goes first. But first, please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers, please. Guys, did you know a lot of people don't like Katara? Did you know a lot of people, including a surprising amount of women, hate Katara? Because when I found this shit out, it literally blew my mind. I'm scrolling through the internet, do my little research, and I'm hearing complaints like Katara's rude, Katara's boring, she complains, she thinks she's the boss, she's mean to Zuko, she fights with Toph, and the cardinal sin, the one above all, true evil incarnate, she tells Sokka that he didn't love their mom like she did.
Katara, she was my mother too, but I think Aang might be right.
Then you didn't love her the way I did.
Oh no! What y'all doing?
As I'm reading this, all I could think of was, wow, these people are dumb. Like classically dumb, with the dunce cap up top, brains looking like Swiss cheese. You blow a breeze by them, you're gonna hear that SpongeBob. Like, how could you miss the point of her character that much? There's a lot to start with here, but since Katara's biggest alleged crime was against Sokka, he's taking the stand first.
But honestly, I'm not sure I can remember what my mother looked like. It really seems like my whole life, Katara's been the one looking out for me. She's always been the one that's there. And now, when I try to remember my mom, Katara's is the only face I can picture.
Do you know how fucked that statement is? Do you know how insane? The older brother forgot what his mom looked like and replaced that image with his younger sister. And people genuinely want to argue that Katara's wrong for saying she loved their mother more? Because in contrast to forgetting their mother, the image of their mom seems to never leave Katara's mind. In fact, during the Firebenders' first attack on the village, Katara's immediate thought was of her mom. And when the opportunity appeared to find the guy who led that attack, Katara jumped on it, bro. She was spinning back in a way that make gangsters, mafiosos, and even the FBI proud, looking the scariest we've ever seen her, solely for her mother. This isn't to say Sokka didn't love his mom, or to take away from how trauma can affect people differently, but there's no way these two people could have had the same level of emotional attachment to their mother. And let's stop pretending that this isn't an extremely normal thing to happen. If you spend more time with your mom, or you get on better with your dad, you're obviously going to value them differently. And it's quite clear from the way Sokka speaks about him that Sokka had a much more closer relationship with his father. So what Katara said, though hurtful, wasn't wrong. And here comes the, well, even if it's correct, you still shouldn't hurt someone's feelings like that. Bro, she's 14. You never said something hurtful when you were 14? That's what I thought, so back up. Back up, man. The other complaints levied against my client boiled down to the fact that she tended to boss people around and was not as fun as the others. But let's take a deeper look into the team she was with and how they may have made it necessary for Katara to behave like that. I got two chiefly in mind. Remember Sokka? Remember what he said about Katara basically being his mom? Want to know the worst part? He's right. And I love Sokka. He's my favorite character. But early on in that series, that guy was a straight bozo, playing warrior while his sister was holding down the home and the village at large.
Come on, Katara, you have chores.
Saying shits like this,
girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting and stuff like that.
Yet the guy couldn't fight, could barely hunt. The boy tried to charge elite firebending warriors, and the prince hell-bent on reclaiming his honor with a boomerang, a spear, and an army reserve consisting of literal children. Then there's Toph, the earth-bending prodigy, tied funniest with Sokka, an authentically interesting character. Girl wouldn't know the word responsibility if it hits her upside the head. But nah, you know those moms who don't show up to a thing for their kids, who don't even know where they are half the time? Toph is the queen of that shit. Deep this. So because Toph grew up in a super strict household, she decided to raise her kids without any rules at all. To the point her first daughter tried to become a mini her, a cop, to somehow gain her love. And the other one turned to fucking Grand Theft Auto to fill the void of an attentive parent. And when these two sisters obviously clashed, it just proved why some people should never become parents. This is not some cute sibling beef like Gwen and Ben, Dipper and Mabel, Bart and Lisa. These are two women in their 40s with graying hair, one of them with 5 kids, trying to take each other's heads off over a situation that happened 20 years ago that a semi-responsible parent would have completely avoided. So if you take this, Sokka, who we've already spoken about, Zuko, who was trying to kill them, so Katara's behavior towards him is justified, and the guy who skipped out on quite literally the biggest responsibility a person could ever have, it's no wonder Katara had to lord over Team Avatar at times. Everyone else had shown themselves to at the very least have high bozo tendencies around a number of issues. That doesn't excuse her from every sort of criticism, and there's definitely been points where even I'm like she's doing too much. But the way people speak so negatively about Katara's characterization, even though it makes perfect sense in the world of Avatar and is necessary for the story to function, boggles my mind. A character shouldn't need to always be charismatic, relatable, or nice for us to see their value. If I asked you to guess one female anime character that's loud, sometimes selfish, constantly hits her male counterparts, thinks she's always right, has a very mean streak like very vindictive, and is extraordinarily weaker in comparison to her male peers, you'd be forgiven for thinking of Sakura. And why wouldn't you? In the anime verse, Sakura is the poster child for a lot of these tropes and traits. She's also the poster child for a poorly written female lead. But that doesn't mean the strong female character trope is automatically bad. Because what if I told you that every single one of these traits also applies to one of the most beloved female characters in all of anime, and she doesn't get close to the amount of hate that Sakura does, bar her over sexualization? Nami. So the question now becomes, why do these traits work for Nami but not for Sakura? It's actually quite simple, as described earlier in this video. Nami's character makes sense within the given story of One Piece. Oda gave Nami specifically extremely important skills and capabilities and external in-universe reasons that justify her personality and actions. She's the ship's navigator, so without her, the Straw Hats would not last 5 seconds on sea. Plus, she's one of the few with an ounce of street smarts, preventing the Straw Hats from getting swindled out of all their money by the end of the first episode. And most importantly of all, each of the Straw Hats possesses a unique yet fundamental flaw that without her overbearing pseudo-leader persona pulling them all together in the background, the show could not work. I know we all go on about how Luffy's always there for his friends, he will sacrifice anything to keep them safe, he loves his crew to the end, and for the most part, Luffy backs it up. However, if my life was on the line and I knew it was only Luffy coming to save me, can't lie, I'd be scared, very scared. In fact, out of the main 4 Mount Rushmore of anime, Luffy won't make the cut at all. He was looking for food while he was supposed to be escaping prison and saving his soon-to-be executed brother, who got executed anyway. Furthermore, without fail, in every arc there will be a scene where he gets himself stuck or does something stupid that gets himself drowned while his crewmates are in deep, deep shit. Their brother adds entire arcs to the series because he's seen something shiny. Then there's Zoro, a man who can't find his way out of plastic bag.
How'd this happen? The path is gone!
If you told him to go left, 20 minutes later, he's gonna bump into your back and then beat you up for getting in his way. He needs to be studied. Usopp is such a scaredy cat that even though he may come to your rescue, it's gonna take hours, days, maybe weeks for him to get to you. And best believe, he will come up with the most cowardly way to do it. Chopper is a kid, and though strong, gets manipulated by the likes of Usopp of all people. Robin, who if not in extreme danger, will have cool indifference towards everything. Brook just wants to look at women's panties, and Frankie is banned for being around schools and public areas, period. But the worst of all is Sanji, who if a pretty woman blinks in his direction, becomes an absolute doormat. She could literally have world genocide on her mind. But if she looks like Sydney Sweeney, Sanji gonna spend the first 15 minutes of the episode hearing her out, another 5 getting her planet into action, then the remaining 5 trying to fight her control, only to allow himself to get better. Without that monster Nami, this crew would go nowhere. Nami is extraordinarily important to how the story works, plus she's useful in the fight and has a couple wins under her belt. So what did we learn? The problem was never assertive, at times aggressive women characters who are powerful and may have a temper. And the answer isn't a complete 180 to softer, very feminine characters as some suggest. But there needs to be a reasoning for a character's personality and actions, and that reasoning needs to be adequate and make sense within the overall story. So when audiences, particularly male ones, view these female characters, they're able to better understand them and give them the praise that female characters deserve. Please like and subscribe.